Hey everybody, and welcome to the Classroom Monarch module series. I am Peter Tusick, Director of Strategic Partnerships, and I am joined today by
Andrew Flatcher's.
Andrew is our product manager, and we are going to do a bit of role playing over the series of videos. And it's meant to be a bit more than a snapshot. Typical snapshots are 5 minutes or so. These are going to be more like 15 to 20-minute modules. And these are going to allow us to give you more of a workflow from inception to completion. So from the beginning of a process all the way through the end. In this first video, we're going to talk about the math workflow, and the Monarch is able to support math translation both forward and backward in Nemeth code or UEB math. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Andrew. He is going to be our teacher. I am going to be our student, and we are going to set this up and complete some math assignments. You ready, Andrew?
I'm ready.
All right. So over to Teacher Flattress to set up our exercise.
Thanks, Peter. So as the teacher of Humanware School, I need to create a math worksheet for my student Peter, who will be using his Monarch to read and write his math work. To save time on the video, I have started the worksheet with 2 questions that I would like Peter to answer, but I will walk you through how to add a math equation using Microsoft Word for my 3rd equation. This will be important because if not done correctly, Peter may not get the correct Braille translation. To give you an example, to add a multiplication sign, some may use the letter X or asterisk. So in this case, if I wanted to add a nav equation 8 times 8, it could look like 8x8, or it could look 8 asterisk 8. Now, when that gets translated into Braille, the translation will pick that up as a letter X, not the actual multiplication sign. So that's why it's really important that when we're dealing with equations and Braille, that we need to make sure that we insert the equations through the correct manner, which I will walk you through. So let's begin with the 3rd question. And this first question is going to be calculate the following equation. And I'm going to put the square root of 16. So when you're ready to insert an equation here, there are a couple of methods that you can use. You can certainly use your mouse to go all the way up to the insert option, and you'll be able to then click on an equation item. The quickest way, however, is to use shortcuts using the Alt key plus the plus key. So Alt and the plus key, that will do exactly the same. And when doing that, you will be prompted with the equation edit box. And this will be very similar on Peter's workflow also. So when he wants to create math equation in his document, he will need to open up his equation editor. But now I've told Microsoft Word that I'm in math mode and I now need to create the equation. Now at the top of my page, my Microsoft document, when you do insert an equation, you'll get various different options to choose from, various different symbols, etc. I'm going to choose the radical option category here. And under radical, there are various different options available to me. I have square root, I have radical with degree. I'm going to choose the square root option. And that just simply adds that square root into my equation edit box. And it gives me a little empty box so that I can start to type in the number 16. So now I can go ahead and type in 16, and then I can use my right arrow to exit out of that equation, ready to start question 4 if I need to. I'll save it to the USB thumb drive and hand it over to my student, who will then be able to read the worksheet using their Monarch. So back to you, Peter.
All right, thanks for sending that over to me, Andrew. I am going to take the thumb drive and I'm going to insert it into the USB-A slot on my Monarch. The USB-A slot is located along the left edge. There are 3 objects there. You have the USB-A port, you then have your power button, and then you have USB-C. So the USB-A slot where your thumb drive goes is the slot that is closest to you at the front of the unit along that left edge. Once I've inserted the drive, I'm going to come to the word processor and I'm going to actually open that math up and complete it. So I'm on the main menu. I'm going to press W to go to our word processor. And I am going to press enter to open this up.
Open.
When I'm in the keyword menu, you have create, you have open, you have print, you have emboss, and settings. I'm going to press enter here on open, and then we're going to find the file on my thumb drive. So let's press enter on open.
Disk_IMG.
And at this point,
Lost.
I want to go and choose the file from my thumb drive. Now, by default, you'll be in the last location you were at when you open the file manager. I'm going to press space with D as in drive, so space with D to move up to drive selection.
Drive selection menu.
And you will
Storage.
see here that you have your possible drives. Now, you may want to copy your file into your internal hard drive, but you'll see here that I have storage and I have my USB drive, which is called disk IMG. So I'm going to space down or press the first letter of my drive. Your drive may be called something different, but it will appear here in drive selection if it is inserted.
Disk_IMG.
Here's my disk image. I'm going to press enter here.
Lost.dir.
And it opens the drive. And now this file was saved on the root of this drive. I'm just going to come down and find it. It is called
mathworksheet.docs.
mathworksheet.docx. And I'm going to press enter and open it up.
Loading. Edit box. End of document.
All right.
Load completed.
Now, once the file opens, and this is at this point, I receive a toast message that it's opening. That message will go away, and now I can see the contents of my file. I see that there are the three math problems here that I need to solve. And the first says solve 5/12 plus 2/12. And again, this currently is rendered in UEB math. This could be rendered in Nemeth. We support both forward and backward translation in Nemeth code or UEB math. I am going to do this exercise in UEB math. Before the math content, every math object is shown with a MS for math start and an ME at the end of the math object. And this is very important because anytime we have mathml, when it is opened on the Monarch, you will see a $ in computer braille followed by MS for math start or ME for math end. And depending on your computer braille table, the MS or ME may be preceded by a different symbol. Again, this is if you're using UEB math. If you're using Nemeth code, you will see the proper Nemeth and UEB context indicators for the beginning and the ending of that Nemeth code content in UEB if your literary braille code is set to UEB. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer this question. So solve 5/12 plus 2/12. I'm going to route my cursor after the ME or the math end here.
Math start.
And I'm going to route my cursor by pointing and clicking immediately after the end of the object. And I'm going to press enter.
New line.
I'm on a new blank line, and I'm now going to input or enter the math into my file. So I need to get into math mode. I'm going to press enter with M as in math to enter my equation editor or turn math mode on.
Math mode on.
And I am just going to write 7/12.
B.
Right. And once I do that, and I'll be able to read this in real time that I've written what I need to. And if I press enter, I'll go down to a new line, but it won't actually input the object. So if I'm done entering math, which I am, I've answered this question that the answer is indeed 7/12. I'm going to press enter with M to end math mode.
Math mode off.
It turns math mode off.
Processing math.
It will process the mathml object and it will place me in my document. And now I have answered the question where after the first line that says 5/12 plus 2/12, I now have another object that says 7/12. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the next line and solve this algebra equation, but in this one, it'll be a multi-line experience because we're going to be solving for X. And I don't want to be turning math mode on and off every single time I press enter and put in a new mathml object each time. So I'm going to complete the entire solving process and then turn math mode off. And I'll demonstrate that now. So we see that number 2 says solve the following algebra equation showing your work. The equation, I see the MS for math start, and then I get 8x plus 2 equals 18. All right, so I'm going to route my cursor after or to the end of that image. I'm going to press enter after this ME or math end after this object.
New line.
I'm going to turn math mode on.
Math mode on.
And I'm now going to solve for X. So again, showing our work, we need to show all of our steps. So I'm going to write 8
H
X.
X.
And again, here it was 8x plus 2.
B.
I'm going to subtract 2.
Dot 5. Dot 3. B.
So again, I'm writing 8x plus 2 minus 2
Space.
equals 18 minus 2.
B.
Okay, so I've written this line, 8x plus 2 minus 2 equals 18 minus 2. Again, we're getting rid of that 2. I'm going to press enter.
Opening new math expression.
Okay,
Space.
it's going to say opening new math expression because I'm still in math mode. That's why it's saying that. Now I can write 8x
Dot H. X.
equals
Space.
16.
Dot A. F.
Okay, so now we have 8x equals 16. I'm going to press enter.
Opening new math expression.
Now we need to show the
Space.
next line. So 8x
Dot H. X.
divided by
Dot 3.
8
Dot 3. H.
equals 16 divided by 8.
H.
Okay, and again, I've written this line. I'm going to press enter, and now this is where I'm actually going to intentionally make a mistake because I want to correct it later to show as an editing process. I do know what 16 divided by 8 is, just for the record. However, I am going to write x equals 3.
C.
Okay, so at this point, I have incorrectly divided 16 by 2, but I have come to the conclusion that x equals 3. And I am going to say that I've solved for x. So on the next line, to complete the process, I am going to write 8
H. Dot 5.
times
Dot
3
C.
plus 2
B.
equals 18.
H.
Now that I'm done showing this, I am going to end math mode.
Math
And
mode off.
what will happen
Processing math.
is
8x plus 2 minus 2 equals 18 minus 2.
there we go.
8x
It's
equals
going
16.
to process
8x divided by 8 equals 16
all of these
divided by 8.
lines.
X equals 3.
It's going to read them line by line.
8 times 3 plus 2 equals 18. Edit box, new line.
And then it's going to bring me back into the file. So again, I've solved in this instance, I've just solved for X, and all of these objects are editable in Microsoft Word using the equation editor. And that's the beauty of this. And Andrew will open this file up in a moment, and he will see that I've created a wrong answer, and he's going to have me fix it. Now, there's one more exercise in this file that I want to demonstrate, and that is how to use the calculator. And so this third question says, calculate the following equation, and it says the square root of 16. So let's calculate the square root of 16 using the calculator. The calculator is a program called KeyMath, and KeyMath can be opened from the main menu, or if you are in the keyword, in a keyword file or in the keyword application, you can press backspace with the letter M as in math to open the calculator or open KeyMath. Again, enter with M brings our equation editor up and allows us to enter and translate Braille, either UEB or Nemeth code, into print math, whereas backspace with M brings us into the calculator. So I'm going to press backspace with M.
KeyMath. Expressions list. Press space with M to enter a new expression. KeyMath expression, UEB edit box, KeyMath.
So now that we are in KeyMath, by pressing backspace with M, I am placed in an edit box where I can enter the expression that I'd like to solve. Now, I'm going to put in the 5, 6 indicator to show that this is grade 1, and I am going to enter the square root symbol. Now, I don't remember how to do this. The root start symbol, I cannot remember what it is, even though I just read it. I want to be able to look it up. So I am going to use the UEB symbol selector, and the same command will work in Nemeth code if you're unsure of a symbol and you would like to look it up. So I'm going to press backspace with 3-5. That would be backspace with IN as in insert symbol. And you can do this when you're in math mode, or you can do this in KeyMath, meaning the calculator. When you're in an edit box, you can do this to look up a symbol you're unsure of. So backspace with 3-5
symbols list
brings me into the symbols list. I'm going to press R until I find root start.
Root open.
Or root open in this case. The root open symbol is 1, 4, 6. So if I press enter here, it will put this into my expression edit box. And I now have this written. I'm going to write 16. And then again, I want to show the root close symbol that I don't remember. So again, I'm just in my edit box for the calculator. I did my grade 1 indicator, 1, 4, 6. I then write number 16, and now I want to look for root end. I'm going to press backspace with 3-5.
Symbols list. UEB
And then
symbols
I'm
table
going to
list.
press the letter R, and right after
Root
root
open.
start, I
Root
find
close.
root close. So root close is a 346. I'm going to press enter, and it will put this into my edit box.
Key math. Edit box. Key math expression. UEB. Key math expression. UEB edit box.
Now that it's in, I'm going to press enter, and it will actually solve this equation. So we're now going to be solving for the square root of 16.
Key math.
Okay, and it performs the calculation, and I see that the square root of 16 equals 4. Now, at this point, I can return to my document. We will have a command where you can export this. Right now, we're working out some kinks here, but I'm going to quickly return to my document by double pressing the square button on the front of my Monarch.
Recent apps.
And what
Edit
I'm going to
box.
do, it's
End
going to
of
put me
document.
back into my file. I am just going to enter math mode
Math mode on.
and write
Dots.
the
Dots.
square
Dots.
root
A.
of 16
Dots 3. Space.
equals 4. And I'm going
D.
to end math mode, and then the answer will be put in.
Math end.
One other
Math mode
thing,
off.
so
Processing math.
processes the
Processing
math.
math.
One other
Starts
thing
with
to
16
keep
and
in
root equals
mind
4. Edit
is that
box.
I
End
am
of
going to
document.
be able to generate a visual preview of this entire document by pressing enter with the letter V as in visual, if I want to show a visual representation of all of my math. So I'm going to press enter with V.
End of field. Keyword. Web view.
And it brings me into a web view. And this is useless to me. I won't be able to see this visual, obviously, as a Braille user, but this will demonstrate what the final document will look like for Andrew or for my teacher. Now, to return to your file, so again, we can see that all of this visual math has been input. To return to my file, I can press space with the letter E or my triangle button.
Edit box. End of document.
And I'm going to save my file by pressing space with S, and that will simply save this file that was sent to me. I don't need to name it. I don't need to do anything. It will just save any changes. I'm going to press space with S.
Edit box. End of document. Save completed.
Save completed. And now I can exit the file by pressing space with E, and I can take my thumb drive out and give it back to my teacher for turning in, or I could, move it over to a computer and email it or whatever I'd like to do. And at this point, Andrew is going to show what it looks like when it is opened on a computer, and he's actually going to put some notes in for me to then make a correction.
Thanks, Peter. So I've opened up Peter's math worksheet and we'll start to review his answers. Now, when making notes as a teacher, this all depends on how you work together with yourself and a student. Each school is different. Each teacher prefers to put maybe a note after each question, perhaps. But at the Humanware School, I will add an abbreviation TN for teacher's notes. And Peter has been a student of mine for many years, so he knows to search for TN, or he can quickly jump to the bottom of the worksheet to see the teacher's comments. Now, after reviewing his work, there are a few things that I would like Peter to tidy up. So I'm going to go to the bottom of the document and type in my abbreviation TN, followed by the colon. So great job, Peter. There are a few things I would like you to check. Please ensure you type the word answer before your calculations. Also, question 2, please can you review your X value as the calculation is incorrect. Okay, and then we're going to put question 3, all correct. Well done. Okay, so now I'm going to save this document and it's going to go back to my USB stick and send it back over to Peter.
All right, Andrew, thanks for sending me the file back. I am going to make the changes thanks to the note you put in. So let's see what you had to say as my instructor. So I'm on the main menu. I'm going to open the word processor.
Word processor. Keyword.
By pressing the letter W, moving down to it, we're going to press enter.
Keyword. Open.
Let's choose our open option.
Disk _
I'm
IMG.
going to open my disk image,
Lost.dir.
which is the last thing I was looking at, but remember you can hit D with space, go to your drive selection. We're going to come all the way down once we are in our USB drive, as we did in the previous exercise, and find our math worksheet and press enter to load it.
Loading. Edit box, 30th. Load completed.
All right. Now, Andrew has been my teacher for a while, and I know that our workflow is that when there are comments in my document, they are put under the TN section. So TN is in teacher's notes. I am going to press space with the letter F to find the phrase TN. So space with F.
Find what? Edit box. Find what?
Brings me into my find dialog, and this is where I can enter TN. Now remember, this is using literary braille. So if you're using grade 2, if you type in TN or contracted braille, you will put in the word tonight, and that doesn't exist in this document unless there was the word tonight somewhere. So I'm going to put a letter sign or dots 5, 6, and then a TN, my grade 1 indicator, and then TN. Going to press enter.
TN. Edit box.
And here we go. I move to my teacher's notes. Now, here I find it says, great job, Peter. There are a few things I would like to take a look at. Type the word answer before question 1. Okay, I can do that. Also, question 2, please review your X value as the calculation is incorrect. 3 looks fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the word answer, put a new line in the word answer before the math object in question number 1, and then I'll show you how to edit the math objects in question number 2 in my answer. So I'm going to come to the top of my file. And what I'm going to do here is I see that before my 7/12, I did not put a new line in. So I'm going to route my cursor. I'm going to press enter and type in the word
space
answer, colon.
Dots 2.
And now
answer.
That will be fixed. So again, we didn't edit the math in that. We just put the word answer before 7/12. Now what I'm going to do is look at the next one. So solve the following algebra equation showing your work. And I see that in my work, what did I not do right? 8x plus 2 minus 2. And I read the lines and I see that, oh, it says 8x divided by 8 equals 16 divided by 8. On the next line I wrote x equals 3. Now I know that 16 divided by 8 is not 3.
Math start.
So I route my cursor to the start of that line that says x equals 3, and I press enter with M to enter math mode at that line.
Space. Math mode on.
It says math mode on, and I'm placed at the end of that line. So I am going to put in, press backspace and get rid of that 3 and make it a 2. I'm also noticing that I should put a letter sign before my X. And now press enter with M, and it will update that object.
Math mode off. Processing math. X equals 2.
Perfect.
Edit box.
Okay.
New line.
And now I'm going to have to do on the following line. So I've changed it to say x equals 2. Now on the next line, I've written 8 times 3 plus 2 equals 18. Now I know that's not right. I need to change the 8 times 3 to 8 times 2 because x equals 2. So I'm going to route my cursor to the beginning of that math object.
Math start.
I'm going to press enter with M again.
Space. Math mode on.
It turns math mode on at that current line. Now I'm going to change 8 times 3 on this line. I'm going to move my cursor to the left using my left D-pad, either side of my array. And I am going to turn that C, which is a 3, into a 2.
C deleted. B.
Okay, so I've now written 8 times 2 plus 2 equals 18. I'm going to press enter with M.
Math mode off. Processing math.
It will update this.
8 times 2 plus 2 equals 18.
Perfect.
Edit box. New line.
And now I have made some changes. I put the word answer before the number 1, as Andrew said to do. I have updated my solving for x and corrected this to say x equals 2, and then in the bottom line, 8 times 2 plus 2 equals 18. So now if I generate my visual preview by pressing enter with V, we will see that that change has taken effect.
Keyword.
Here's my visual preview.
Print.
And remember, this is not something that I would benefit from as the blind, as the Monarch user, the Braille reading Monarch user. But for my teacher, you can see that these changes have been made. I'm going to return to my file.
Edit box, math start.
I'm going to press space with the letter S to save my changes, and then I'm going to get this file back to Andrew, get this back to my teacher through the thumb drive.
Edit box, math start. Save completed.
Perfect.
End of field.
Thanks, Peter, and thank you all for watching our classroom module video on working with math worksheets. Stay tuned for more classroom modules where we will take you through the file manager.